Hello there, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I am here to wrap up my April reading and to give you my May TBR. So first of all, I did finish Out of the Silent Planet, which I don't have here. I've got the other two. Regardless, that was a really fun book. It was an 81 to 82% book for me. I was reading this for the Space Trilogy 2021, which was created by Victoria, a musical bookworm, and we've had 2 live shows already. So I will link those down below, and if you wanted to join us for the May read, you could still do that. We're reading that Hideous Strength, and the live show won't be until like the very end of the month. So Out of the Silent Planet follows a professor named Ransom who is kidnapped and brought to the planet Mars, where he finds other civilizations, and he is enlightened about a good many things. And there is some theology in there. It's very imaginative, fantastic ideas and theming. The settings are very colorful and imaginative, and the plotting is pretty good. Like, it's not like I lost interest. Some of the descriptions were disorienting, and it was a little bit hard for me to stay focused on it sometimes. And it was also lacking in the character department, but overall it was a really good start to the trilogy. So I rated that one in 81 or maybe an 82% out of 100. And then we moved on to Perelandra, which is the second book in the series. This one is set on Venus. Even more imaginative qualities, a whole lot heavier on the theology end. And I loved this even more. I found this really gripping. I didn't ever want to put it down. I really loved pretty much every minute of it, and I rated this an 88 out of 100. This was just a darn good sequel. I can't really tell you anything about it without spoiling the first book, but this one made me really super excited for that Hideous Strength this month. And finally, I finished Slaughterhouse-five by Vonnegut, and we had a live show of this on my channel with Una and Crypto from the Codex Cantina and Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative. We had a great discussion on it. I actually ended up giving this book about a 62. So I didn't rate it very highly, but I loved our discussion of it. It was definitely an experience. Honestly, the live show really made this worth reading. So the good things about this are that it's very gripping. The style is just so gripping. It's well written stylistically, meaning like every sentence really pulls me in and makes me want to keep going. And the stakes are really high. This basically gives you a veteran's experience of Dresden in World War II, the bombing of Dresden, which the author actually lived through. This is sort of autobiographical and fictional at the same time, which is a combination that I'm not really sure that I like, because it's almost like super subjective journalism, and I don't like super subjective journalism. So the bad things are that the theming and the messaging seem incredibly incomplete and like purposefully not very clear, which is actually annoying to me. I prefer something more like Dostoevsky, who really carries out his themes to the fullest, like to the max. And I feel like he set the bar really high for me. And American literature just usually doesn't live up to it. I understand that American literature and a lot of modern literature is kind of building on classics and stuff. I just really prefer the classics. They feel like way more complete to me. I think somebody who probably has read a lot of classics and just read a lot would find this really refreshing, because it is very short and very gripping, and it does something new, which is provide anti-war veterans perspective of World War II. It's like a Vietnam War book, but written about World War II. The characters also play into his theming, which was cool. I liked how the characters played out different aspects of the anti-war theme. However, the female characters were like not just lacking, but actually offensive. They had nothing to do with the theming, as far as I could tell. They were just there to be sex objects. Overall, the messaging, I just didn't really understand it. It was kind of like close your eyes to the bad things so that you can survive life. It was so unclear to me. And also, he would randomly be like, oh, I could write the gospel better. And I'm like, oh yeah? You could barely write your own book coherently. This wasn't coherent at all, which is partly structural. You know, he's trying to mirror war, but I prefer something that's better organized. So frankly, I just thought it was really rich that he was criticizing the gospel. I was like, yeah, okay, dude. Good luck with that one. Okay, that's all that I finished this month. However, I did make progress earlier in the month on Jefferson, the biography. This will actually be falling onto my to be continued pile. I'm going to finish this towards the end of May for the live show with Ramsey. We don't have a date for that yet, but I will let you know when we do. And also Jefferson's Sons by Kimberly, Brubaker, Bradley. This one is just getting so complex, and I am completely in love with it. It's about Jefferson's two sons, illegitimate, by his black slave, Sally. The two sons are so different. One loves his father. The other just is like, you're selling my friends all the time. You're not a good man. And the other one sees it as more like complex. One of them is white enough to pass. The other one is too dark to pass. And they just are facing so many issues. And it's heartbreaking, but also I can't stop reading it. It's so gripping. I'm loving this book. There's so much heart to it. I can't judge the physical writing because I'm just listening, but the storytelling is fabulous. This was recommended to me by Amanda the Curly Reader, and I'm so thankful. It's so good. And I'm loving pairing it with the Jefferson biography too. So my priority reads, which is the yellow tier rank for next month, are going to be Dead Souls. This is a read-along that I'm doing with Una and Crypto, and also Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads. She is lovely. The live show is going to be May 27th at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST. This is a Russian classic by Nikolai Gogol, and I just want to read you the little note from Flannery O'Connor at the beginning, because if you need anything to convince you, this will do it. If you're a Flannery fan, which I am, do you like the novel Dead Souls? I like Tolstoy too, but Gogol is necessary along with the light. I just love how she says things. It's a satire of Imperial Russia's back country. I have loved Nikolai Gogol's short stories, and I've been just waiting for this since sometime last year. I've been planning to read this with the Codex Cantina, and it's finally happening. I'm so excited. Also, the lovely, wonderful, amazing Penny sent this to me. Thank you, Penny. You're making this possible. Next priority on the yellow tier is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. This is actually a read-along that's being put on by Krista from Books and Jams. It's called Mere Christianity May. She's having live shows every Sunday on her channel, and I'm going to be in at least 2 of them, and maybe more if she has room for me. I cannot even wait. I've read this twice before in my life, and it's time for a reread. It's also especially fun since I'm reading all the Space Trilogy books as well. Loving this, yay. And finally on the yellow tier is That Hideous Strength by C.S. Lewis. This one I'm hoping I can read almost entirely on audiobook if possible. The other 2 books that was not possible, but the beginning of this seems less thematic in the sense that I have to read every word. It looks like maybe we do visit another planet in this one. If that's the case, I will probably drop the audiobook and sit down and read, because I can't help reading his descriptions of the planets. They're just so fascinating. I love how he describes the other planets. That's really the fun of these books. This final live show, I forget when the date will be, but like I said, I will link that down below in case you want to join us for that. This one I am going to try and read very quickly in the first half of the month. Along with this one, I am going to read this in the first half of the month as well, entirely, if possible. I don't anticipate reading this on audiobook, but we'll see. And Mere Christianity, I'm reading entirely physically, except when I'm reading it, sometimes I'll listen along with it, since there is no language barrier, translation barrier. I will be reading each book that the live show is covering at the end of the week. I will be reading it at the beginning of the week so that I'm definitely prepared. The final thing that I'm planning on finishing, and the reason I have 4 books here that I'm definitely planning on finishing, is because the last one is a graphic novel, a very thoughtful graphic novel, but graphic novels go definitely more quickly. This is the graphic novel adaptation of an Italian work of nonfiction, and it is adapted by Tommaso Tedesca, who is Tom LA Books, and Noah and I and Tom and also Noah's friend Dario will be having a live show on Noah's channel, at least one, maybe more than one throughout the month, because it is maybe mid-rash this month. I forgot to even mention that earlier. I think this is probably why Noah is doing live shows. And this is kind of discussing, I think, theistic evolution and old earth Christianity. And those to me are not like salvation issues. I just find them really interesting because for some people, Like, they literally won't become Christians because they believe that there's no way you can be a Christian and also believe in like evolution. And I'm excited to explore it with 3 big brains. And also, this is actually a to be continued. I did start it last month. Also, Evie sent this to me. Thank you so much, Evie. I'm loving it already. I'm already into part 2, the first live show, which I'll link it up here because it'll be over by now. By the time you're seeing this, will be through part 2. Okay, what's next? So War and Peace is going to be my red book for this month. If I finish that Hideous Strength and Dead Souls in the first half of the month, I've read a quarter. I need to get through half by the end of May in order to catch up with my friends Jennifer Brooks and Christina from Knitting Books, etc. The books that I have that are green, which means pretty much going to be entirely audiobook and also mostly to be continued stories for this month, are Morning Star by Pierce Brown, which I can thankfully listen to mostly on audiobook. I missed the live show on this because it was happening at the same time as the Perelandra live stream, but also I just didn't quite finish it. Like, I still have a third of the book to go. I know that once I get into it, I'll be able to just like binge it on audiobook in like 2 days, but I just wasn't able to do that last month, and I was very sad because I love it. So we'll see what happens there. Also, A City of Bells. This is probably not going to happen. I don't think I'm even going to be able to finish it, to be honest with you. I'm over 100 pages in, and I really enjoy it, but there is no audiobook. There's just no way I can catch up, and I'm so sad because this was the most recent buddy read for Emma, the Bookish Princess, in her Discord, and I've been wanting to read Elizabeth Goudge for forever. I really am enjoying it. But I just have too many things going on. This is why I created my system, so that I wouldn't have too many things happening all at the same time. And the final book that we have that's to be continued is Heaven to Betsy. This is by Maud Hart Lovelace, and I've been buddy reading this series with Kate Howe and Rainy from Rainy Day Reads, and we've been vlogging it. I love it. I mean, there's no audiobook. I just have not really had a chance to read it. So if they end up going ahead without me, then I understand completely. If you guys go on ahead without me, I understand completely. Next on green is Isaac's Storm. This would be my first Stephen Erickson, and I am thrilled to try it out. This is a book that I'm reading for my library book club, and it will be entirely on audiobook because the other person in the book club is only reading it on audiobook. So that's just the experience we're going for. I'm looking forward to this because I love disaster stories. This is about, I think it's the most deadly natural disaster in American history, maybe. A hurricane killed 6,000 people in Galveston, Texas. Okay, what is left on my list here? We have The Portable Dante, translated by Mark Musa, and this I would love to read for a read-along that Jennifer Brooks and Tom Ellie Books are doing right now. It would just be such a pleasure to read this with them because they both love it. However, I did already pretty much have my year scheduled out when I heard about this readathon happening. I would love to read Purgatory and Paradise with them. Their live show is coming up really soon here for the first one. It's actually not very long. I feel like I need to make War and Peace my priority. I also got Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor because Una and Leslie are reading this month, and I desperately want to read it with them. We were going to even have a live show, and I just had to opt out because I have too much going on already, and I knew that I wouldn't do a good job with it. If you want to read that with somebody, however, you can check out the Literary Discourse Discord down below. Did I even mention that we're having a discussion there about Dead Souls? Because we are. So the Literary Discourse Discord is where a lot of our buddy reading and read-alongs of the literary variety are happening. So please check that out. Join if you're interested. If I manage to finish Morning Star, I would love to read Iron Gold, and this is for the same read-along put on by Alan from the Library of Alexandria. He's doing the Feb Rising read-along for all of this whole series, which I'm thrilled about because I've been wanting to read this for literally years in Dark Age. And then there's the next one coming out eventually. Like, I really desperately want to read these. If I can ever finish Morning Star, I will catch up and read Iron Gold. There's also another book that Alan turned me on to, which is A Shadow in Summer by Daniel Abraham. He said this has like Shakespeare levels of tragedy, and I would love to check this out. However, if I can't even finish the Pierce Brown series, I really should not start this series yet. But I had to show it off because it's so pretty and I want to read it so bad. There's also The Romance of a Shop by Amy Levy, and this is the Kate Very Victorian Patreon book club pick for May. Anytime there's a Zoom discussion on a book, I am just like, I want to be so in, and normally I am. It's just that, again, I've got too much going on right now. So I might just show up for the discussion, just to hang out with people and hear what they thought of the book, even though I am not going to have a chance to read it. If there's an audiobook, there might be a slight small chance that I could read it. That's disappointing. However, we are going to be reading The Mayor of Casterbridge in June and July, and that was my pick, and it got chosen, and I'm pumped. I'm putting that in the yellow tier. Also, I really wanted Wives and Daughters to be something that I was reading this month. However, there is another live show that I'm going to be in that is on the exact date and time of that Zoom discussion. And also, again, I have no time. It's just one of those months, guys, where it is insanely busy. The last thing that I would like to talk about here is the Dark Academics Book Club Party. I'm not actually part of the Dark Academics Book Club. I haven't read anything with them, but I love Emmy's vlog style kind of videos. I have really been enjoying her channel lately. It's been recommended to me by Jennifer Brooks, who is just becoming such a great friend. So thank you, Jennifer, for recommending her to me. Also, Noah from Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse recommended Emmy. Thank you guys for talking her up, because I love her now. So she and her co-hosts of the Dark Academics Book Club are having a 1-year celebration birthday party thing, and they're going to host a read-along on May 22nd through the 30th. There's going to be like reading sprints and 2 live shows, and they're going to dress up. And the readathon has like 9 prompts, and the whole theme is you're in college and you're about to graduate. One of them is graduating college this month, and 3 of them have birthdays this month. So it's like just a giant extravaganza thing. I can't say no to that, especially because I can do a lot of the prompts without adding anything to my TBR. The extra credit book is to read one of their favorite books that they list in their announcement videos. I would love to read, it's like Letters to a Young Poet or something by Rilke. I've never read Rilke, and it's one of Emmy's favorite books, and I would really, really, really love to read that. So each prompt is a class. So one is like cooking, and that prompt is bake something yummy, a dessert. So I would really like to make November cakes, because it's been a long time since I made November cakes. It's not November, like not even, it's May, but it's never a bad time for November cakes. November cakes are a recipe that the author Maggie Stiefvater created in her book, The Scorpio Races, and then made it in real life so that you could eat them, and they're so delicious. She has learned to bake a lot of things without preservatives and make a lot of things without preservatives because she's allergic to preservatives. So she made this caramel sauce, and it's fantastic. Also, read a mythology folklore retelling or a compendium of myth. Also, read a classic. I will be working on War and Peace that week, probably. Pick up a nonfiction book. I will probably finish Isaac's Storm. The creative writing class is compose something. I've been working on a ghost story that's set on the Pacific Northwest coast, and it involves a haunted railroad. And I would love to actually just like finish a rough draft of that. That would be so fun. Watch a movie. So probably Harry Potter 7 would be part 2 would be the movie for this one, because Kevin and I are listening to the 7th Harry Potter book, and we've been watching the movies along with them, and we just are flying through the 7th book. So that's probably the movie. Read a book from a country that you have never read from, and that is such a cool prompt. I would love to read that Icelandic book called Independent People that I got in my week 3 April vlog, the one where I'm holding a whole bunch of books and I say I have no self-control. Create a reading playlist. I might just listen to a live Russian video that just continually plays Russian music, which Victoria also recommended and which I love. And the final prompt is dress up, and I will do that. I think what I'm gonna do is literally do a vlog. That is the plan. I'm gonna get going. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please do give me a like in the corner and hit that notification as well if you want to be notified anytime I'm making a video. And of course, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thank you for watching. Please do watch the ads. If you want the ad revenue to be donated to the wonderful Families Together, that is who I donate all of my ad revenue towards. So you are helping out that wonderful charity if you watch my ads on my channel. So thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.